Alright, what's up guys? Back here, Biggfeast Baits, back in the shop, working on some paint jobs right here. Got a couple going up there on the rack, and right there my little makeshift spray booth, lights on so you can't see the blanks that are sitting up there, but working on painting up some baits. Just got the mask off, so I know you don't need it for airbrushing, but I like to use it. Don't want nothing crazy in my lungs. So, but yeah. So today I wanted to talk about right here the 3-piece Torpedo. So this is the crappie colorway. Again, this is a wake bait slash crankbait. So if you look at the lip angle, it's a little bit more downward motion than the bomber wake, which is a little bit more perpendicular. So this one will actually give you some nice crank action when you speed it up. But for me personally, I fish it both on a wake and on a crank. Typically, I'm running it on a wake early mornings. I'll have it tied on, and I will be throwing it as a wake bait. I like to throw it out, give it a nice slow retrieve, kind of just wakes like this, nice and slow on top. That entices some good bites with it in the summertime and pretty much when the water's warm out here. And then as the sun kind of comes up and we get around structure and we're hitting that trolling motor, I'll pitch it into structure and give it some wake, and it gets bit pretty good. But I also like to, throw it near docks or also around, shaded areas and give it a nice crank. Two ways. I will kind of get it going on a speed it up, and I'll get the crank going, and I'll kind of keep it at a steady pace that gets bit. And I also like to sometimes kind of give it a rip with a rod. So you kind of reel in it steady, and you kind of yank the rod down, and it kind of jets out like, and then when you do that, when they're real reactive to kind of higher speeds and burning and whatnot, it seems to be a good way to get bites. Kind of like a jerk bait, basically. So kind of let it fly around and do its thing, and it gets bit. So but yeah, pretty much those are the methods that I'm fishing it. Haven't really burned it. You can burn the bait. I haven't personally fished it, just straight burning it. Some guys like to just do like a burn and stop. And there was a bite out here for a while on that, but me personally, I was kind of just doing it slow and then giving it some twitches. So that was what I was doing and getting bites personally. So, but I'm sure, there's guys out there who know when and where to throw that burn in, kind of like, people when you use the triple trout, or guys out here were using the UFO at that time, the UFO gill, and it was just killing them. So, but it's about 7 inches. So it's a decent sized bait. It's got some height to it, probably about 1.5 inches, and then 7 across the length. It's got a soft tail, unlike the bomber wake, which has that hard Lexington tail with a loud clack. This one a little bit more natural swim to it. That tail kind of is soft, it can move. It's got 2 pins in there with a toothpick, and if it tears out, what I do now is I ship up a baggie with toothpicks and tails, and I actually have, if you look in here, 2 different size tails. I got the smaller one right there. That kind of lets it run more natural. You can really get the burn and everything, but I would say for guys, if you want more tail flap or you want to work it slower on top, I have this kind of more trout style larger tail. It's really going to get that flap going on top and kind of trail behind that wake and give it a nice smooth look to it. So, but I've been personally fishing it with this one right here, smaller tail, less resistance there, and it gets bit. So tail colors, I kind of ship various ones when I ship the bait. So as you can see, there's kind of different ones there. This one kind of matches the bait a little bit more, a little speckled black and silver pearl in there with a clear base. The eyes on this crappie one, kind of in the video, looks a little bit red, but it's actually kind of a hologram, kind of pinkish to silver, which I think looks pretty cool with it. Kind of a little bit more natural. It's got a little flash to it. Body's got some silver on it, white belly to silver, pearling there, so it has that shine with the black. So back is black, and again, same thing, color. I think this one, it might matter a little bit more just because, you know, you do have that presentation where you're gonna be cranking it down some. But if you're waking it, honestly, again, to me, color, you know, it's really kind of just sitting right there, and you know, they're only seeing kind of the bottom of it. So again, you know, I don't know how critical color is, but I run owner hooks again, SD56. So again, same thing, size 2 on the front, size 4 in the back. I have a hyperwire split ring on the nose, hyperwire split rings on the hooks, size 5, and I fish it personally on straight braid as well, especially if I'm waking it. Definitely straight braid, that's how I like to use it. But if I am cranking it down or really trying to work, you know, more in-depth presentation, then I have been using co-poly. So the PF P-line or P-line PF original, 20 pound. You can step it up to 25 if you're really fishing around brush and stuff. You don't want to get it nicked up and cast off. But that's kind of what I like to go to. So, and rod wise, same rod as the Bomber Wake. I'm using mostly the medium heavy. Again, if I'm cranking it through brush, you know, some of the lakes out here, all over the shoreline, there's a bunch of brush, and we're kind of working these things through it. Other cool thing, kind of like a crankbait, that bill will do a good job at deflecting stuff. I have not snagged, you know, the hooks on anything when it comes through, because it does nose down, which is good. So you can kind of bang it through things, like a true, you know, wake and crankbait, and it'll go through stuff very well. And a lot of times you'll come up and, you know, you'll hit that structure, and as soon as it pops off, that's when you get bit. So, you know, definitely try it out. These ones, the tail right here is pretty thick, and yeah, it doesn't seem to break there. This one's very durable. I haven't had really any issues with it. Smacked it against rocks and whatnot. It might chip up because it's resin, but it's still very fishable. No issues there at all as well. So, yeah, 7-inch bait. You know, unfortunately, you know, I came out with this. I made it a little bit later in our, you know, season where this kind of bait would shine. So I know for a fact it gets bit because I've, you know, caught a decent amount on it. But cast to catch wise, I don't have too many videos. Early in the summer, we were really working on that, getting a bunch of GoPro videos, had them running all the time, and kind of as the season progressed, you know, kind of got redundant, unfortunately. I know you gotta keep that video on when that, you know, 10-pounder or that big fish bites, but you know, we didn't have it on, unfortunately. So but it does get bit. You know, I got some fish picks with them, guys out there. A couple of guys out here recently, right before like the end of fall, you know, guys in Illinois were buying them. Great success on them, so I know they work throughout the country. So, you know, give it a shot. You know, I have the 2 crappie colors right now available on the web store. This is how it comes. Comes with the bag, comes with the bait. Same thing, just like all my baits, you break it. I'll try to repair it at no cost for you guys. Really, if you know, if it's any manufacturing issue, I'll replace it for free. You know, if you're a great customer, then if you know, cast it off or break it, I'll try to get you something. It might take a little time, but I always try to come through for you guys. So anybody who supports. So color wise, I'm coming out with, you know, a trout. Got the 4-piece, which I'm gonna do a separate video on, because I work it a little bit differently, that one, than this 3-piece. I think the 3-piece, honestly, out of all the baits that I make, this is probably the most versatile. You know, I think this one really, you can use it in just so many different applications. Cranking it through brush, waking it through brush, you know, crank, rip, burning, really endless to it. So, you know, I don't know if I'm not big into dead sticking. I know some guys do well with it. You know, I'm sure if you let it sit there in the wind, it's a really free joint, so it'll probably make some commotion. You could probably get bit on a dead stick. You know, I don't, because I like to just work it. I'm an active guy and love to pound it. I don't really like to just sit there. So another reason why I love hard baits, and I'm terrible with soft baits, because just the, you know, sitting there winding it is a pain for me, unfortunately. So, and I know that's a way to get big fish. So, but yeah, this one gets bit. Definitely my most versatile bait, I'd say, right now out of the lineup. And I think this next year, gonna see some pretty good fish coming on it. Whether it be myself, hopefully, if I can get out and fish, or some guys who have it already out there. So got a few of them out there, and again, I'm trying to keep these in stock to a fair degree for you guys. I know a lot of guys may not know this, but I am expecting a baby coming up here in a couple months, so I'm trying to build up, and I can kind of show you guys real quick, but trying to build up right here, you know, a whole bunch, trying to get all that stuff built up, stocked, so you guys can have some baits if you're interested. Grab them and hopefully fish them. Also, the UFO event at Santee Lakes that's coming up out here in San Diego. Gonna try to make it. I just actually messaged him today. If I can get out there, I'm gonna definitely do it, but if baby decides to come early, then, you know, duty calls. So part of being a father. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on right now. Biggfeast Baits, as well as the baits that I'm kind of pushing. Next, I'll probably talk about the 4-piece. This is the blank right here. Do a video on this guy, and also the pretty cool one. This is a blank I'm kind of working on at the moment. It's the Sidewinder. Got a couple up here. I'll show you. So actually, I paid in one today. That's actually really cool. It's kind of got a gold scaled trout color to it. So I'm gonna try to get a video of that guy as well. I'm telling you, I think there's gonna be a monster cut on that one. I'm pretty confident I can get a monster on it as well. That's one of my favorite techniques that I think a lot of guys aren't doing, which is, well, I'll talk about it when I talk about the video, but that's how I got my PB. Similar method, 8 pounds, 2 ounces. So I haven't cracked the DD yet, unfortunately. Again, I feel like I could if I just fished the soft baits, but kind of ranting now. Oh, well, another thing I'm working on with this 3-piece torpedo, forgot to mention. So this is a little colorway here. I'm running for saltwater. You know, obviously it's not like tuna style, tuna grade hardware. More so kind of, you know, maybe the guys that are targeting calicos and whatnot. I am working on trying to get something dialed in. Hopefully working on something that's going to be a little bit of a countdown, so, you know, sinks level and they can really burn it through the kelp. That's something I'm working on. Haven't gotten to it yet. Been working on another bait in similar fashion for the similar reasons. Not necessarily a torpedo. This was made mostly for freshwater in mind, but you know, got another bait in the works for the saltwater guys. So we're out here to San Diego. Look, people love the salt. We've actually been getting into it pretty heavy. But yeah, before the video gets too long, just kind of wanted to show you 3-piece torpedo. Like I said, they have I have 2 of them in stock, crappie color right now. Should have a couple more up on the website here soon. And also dig this Moam shirt. I don't know, I just love to wear other creators' stuff. Kind of puts me in a creative spirit. So Moam, they do some sick jobs. I know I talked about the rod last time. That's what I fished the torpedo on too, so I guess it makes sense. But yeah, that's it. Stay tuned. I'm gonna try to get some more videos on each bait for now, and then when springtime comes around, I'm gonna get the boat out and get you guys some on the water footage and descriptions, and actually show you guys how I fish them. All right, thank you.